pulls the evils out of people and allows them to chase their sicknesses in bedrooms. And he records them. And then he calls them up. Hey, you had a good time last night. I know you did. You know how I know? Because I saw it. I saw it. I saw it. I saw it.
I don't hear nobody out there. Hold down.
So look, I know some of y'all is over here by happenstance. You see the title and you like, ooh, we got action. But what actually is happening over here is that we're reading books. And then I provide my commentary that can sometimes be funny. It can sometimes be serious. Oh, and if you don't know, I am from Washington, D.C., the old D.C., Chocolate City, and I have a somewhat thick D.C. accent, so I do pronounce words with R's in them very funny. We don't read the whole book because, like I always say, I ain't about to get a copyright for none of you. In the comments, my commenters provide their corrections to whatever it is I say, or they give additional commentary on what was said or read in the book. Okay? All right? If you're enjoying yourself, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. You subscribe. Shut up, Lou. Oh, and I got a dog named Lulu. He snores. Okay? That's not no old man or no old lady in the background snoring. That is my dog, Lulu. I know I'm 53 this year, so a lot of times I go to the left. That's what happens. I go to the left and then I forget where I'm going, but eventually I find my way back to where we're trying to be. This book club, we have paid members. They get some information before the subscribers do. Oh, that's what I was saying. I told y'all eventually I get back to where we're supposed to be. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment respectfully, and tell a friend about us. Let's continue reading Faith Evans. Keep the faith. The next day, we went up to the bad boy offices to tell the staff about our little secret. The night before, I'd called my friends Donovan and Roz, my grandparents and my mom, and told them what we'd done. No one was particularly jumping for joy, but they didn't say anything negative either. The first people we saw were Mark Pitts and Wayne Burrell, Big's managers, who would later end up managing me as well. Mark was one of the people that had gone to Howard University with Puff, along with Derek D. Angeletti and Harvey Pierre. These guys helped Puff start Bad Boy up from the ground. They'd practically lived with him at his mother's house in Scarsdale while they plotted out the future of the label. You know what? It's something about his mama. She make me think that she was doing some street shiz too, because she was married to a street dude. You know, her baby father / husband. He was in them streets. He was selling dope, from what I understand. And it's like something might be off with her. You know, and I don't know your mama like that. But something make me feel like, I don't know, like she could give a good episode of Soft White UnderBelly. But it also meant that they were learning as they went along, and that the main goal was to keep Puff happy, which is why it looked like the blood drained out of Mark's face when I told him the news. Mark and I had gotten along well, and we had a friendly relationship. He called me Sugarfoot, and I called him Mudfoot. I have no idea where those nicknames came from, but they stuck. Sugarfoot is what Mick's nickname is for me. And if y'all don't know, that's my big cousin, the one that can fight. And Mudfoot comes from the Cosby kids. You know, Bill Cosby, Fat Albert, and the gang. It was an old drunk, wino, homeless dude named Mudfoot. And from time to time, whenever I see somebody limping or walking or have one of them heel spur boots on, I call him Mudfoot. Or Peg Leg Bates. Hey, Mudfoot, I said, gotta tell you something. Me and Big got married yesterday. Mark sputtered, and his eyes opened wide. You did what? I smiled. We got married. Mark looked faint. He cleared his throat and ran a hand across his forehead. I didn't even know y'all were dating. I told Mark it was really true and that I was happy. He wasn't upset, just shocked. And then he said something I would hear over and over again from everyone else in the office that day. Did you tell Puff? See, that's the part I don't get. Why the fuck do I gotta tell? I mean, yeah, you could tell Puff, but why does it matter for he ain't your daddy? Or is he your daddy? Because his name is Puff Daddy. I had never even given any thought to what Puff would say. Why should you? Because he ain't your daddy? He ain't your daddy. Well, girl, according to the beginning of the book, she don't really know her daddy. All she knows is that her daddy is white. Okay? But she do got a granddaddy / cousin that raised her over there in Newark, New Jersey. Of course, Big and I hadn't known each other very long. I knew we were being daring and impulsive. But what I did on my downtime had nothing to do with Puff. Word. If I wanted to raise cows in my back room, motherfucker, it ain't got nothing to do with Bad Boy Entertainment. That's my bathroom. And if I want to let them graze back there in some mulch and grass in a tub, that's my business. And the ASPCA's or Peter's, but it ain't Puff Daddy's business. Big and I went into Puff's office together that afternoon. Big had told him we were coming by and needed to talk to him. The door was open when we got there, so Puff on the phone, being important. In his mind, girl, he on the phone, yipping and yapping, biggity boo boo boo. Motions to them, come on in, take a seat. They sit down in front of him. And hey, I'll call you back. I got the man here and the lady, the man and the lady here. You know, Biggie and Faith here. They don't know that they bath now. So he gets off the phone. Puff got off the phone and clapped his hands together. All right, he said, what's going on? Big looked over at me and then looked at Puff. Me and Faye got married yesterday, he said. Puffy didn't say a word. His mouth just dropped. For a long minute, it was quiet. I looked over at Big. He just shrugged and we both waited for Puff to either close his mouth or actually say something. Puff's eyebrows were arched really high and there was some kind of small noise coming out his mouth. It sounded like he was gasping for air. You're married? When did y'all start dating? He finally said. Me and Big both laughed. Yeah, it was kind of a spur of the moment thing, Big said. Puff looked over at me and I just smiled. Are y'all serious? Puff said. Hell yeah, I'm serious. Big said, this is my wife, straight up. Puff's head was still, but his eyes kept shifting from me to Big and then back to me again. I could see he wasn't happy about this new turn of events. But it seemed like he was holding himself back from being visibly upset. Ain't that some shiz, he said with a nervous laugh. Y'all married, wow. Big stood up and motioned for me to get up as well, which I did. All right, I just wanted you to hear from me. You know what I'm saying? No doubt, Puff said. Looking back, Puff's anxiety was understandable. I don't know why. Big was his marquee artist. And in addition to that, Big was the only one on the label or employed by the label who didn't seem even the slightest bit intimidated by Puff. danger. Because you know Puff liked to run everybody with fear. You hear what I'm saying? So the fact that he had these mansion parties going on where all the freaky stuff was happening, and these people were secretly being recorded while you in there sucking face with a horse or a giraffe or an elephant or a transsexual clown, whatever it is you want to do that day, and then there's cameras in the room. He controls the industry with fear. That's what Puffy was doing. Yesterday I was saying that the ninja is not gay or bisexual. He just like to suck the souls out of men's booty holes. He pulls the evils out of people and allows them to chase their sicknesses in bedrooms right there. And he records them. And then he calls them up. Hey, you had a good time last night. I know you did. You know how I know? Because I saw it. I saw it. I saw it. I saw it. In a few days, he was shipping Big's first single, Juicy, to the radio. I had my own issues. We were now married after a whirlwind courtship. And I still had not met Miss Wallace. And now I was a Wallace too. It was not a good situation. 2 days after we were married, Big told his mother, and she didn't believe him. Then a family friend heard Big on the radio telling the host that he'd recently gotten married. The family friend told Miss Wallace, and she asked him if it was really true. He told her it was, and she hit the roof. Miss Wallace was very upset, and rightfully so. Her 22-year-old son had gotten married and didn't. Her 22-year-old son had gotten married and didn't even tell her. Worse yet, she had never met me. A few days later, I came to the apartment and Big silently placed a letter on my lap. The letter was from his mother telling him how upset she was that Biggie had let her down, had carried the girl Jan. Now, let me say this about Jan. I don't know if Jan was Jamaican, but y'all let me know. Because I really thought that Jamaican mothers always wanted their Jamaican sons to marry a Jamaican woman. I don't know if Jan is Jamaican. I'm not sure. But that's one reason why I'm thinking the mother is disappointed. The second one is that I believe that she probably wanted him to marry the baby mother. Because remember, these are times where it's still important for a baby father to marry a woman. You married the mother of your child. I waited at the apartment until Miss Wallace came home. Usually I was gone by then or stayed in the back room, but this time I took a deep breath, walked out of Big's bedroom, and saw her standing in the front hall. Miss Wallace, I started. I showed her the letter I was holding. She looked me up and down and waited for me to speak. I'm Faith, Christopher's wife. Miss Wallace just looked at me like she was waiting for me to say something substantial. Chris asked me to marry him, and I know it seemed to happen really fast, and I know what you probably think of me, but it's not that way. Meaning, your son ain't got shit. He lived with you in his back bedroom, small as shiz, spinning records, smoking weed on the block. I've been working in the music business forever, Miss Wallace, forever. I've been getting to the money. Your son ain't even got his money yet. So he ain't doing me no favors by marrying me. This ain't what Faith said. This is what I'm thinking. You better stop tripping on your son. That motherfucker ain't got nothing that can help me. Basically, I fell in love with your son because of who you reared him to be. That's it. That's all. He has absolutely nothing to offer me. I'm already there. In the background, but I'm there. Your son ain't even, he on the radio, but For real, it's 17 of my songs on the radio already. Miss Wallace, stop tripping on your son. Some of you women be acting like your sons be that nigga. And he be living with you. He didn't deed down some dumbass girl and then came home to your house and asked you for money. And y'all acting like y'all sons be them ninjas and they be trash. Some of y'all sons be trash. Hence this soft white underbelly clip I'm about to put in here. Oh, I love this lady.
I just put my son out, 35 years old, just got out the penitentiary. And the reason why I put him out is because you spend a night at your friend's house and you jump out of her bed, but then you got to come home. Oh, mama, I need some gas money to get to my parole officer in Lancaster. Like, nigga, you should establish that before you jumped into bed with the broad. So I got sick of that shit. So I threw that motherfucker out. The bitch playing with you. That hoe ain't gonna play with me. So he tells my mother, my mama mad because I won't be a hoe like she used to be. I told my mama, check this out. Ain't no way in hell you could be 35 years old trying to be an up-and-coming hoe. If you wasn't 13 doing it, it's not gonna work at 35. So as the shit goes by, he's seen everything I'm talking about. See, when you're hoeing, it's a misdemeanor. When you rob a motherfucker, it's a felony. And that's what the fuck he did. He robbed that girl, stole her car, took her credit card, took her money, broke on that bitch like a downtown tramp. I said, oh, but you saying that you didn't want to be a hoe. At least if you was a hoe, it's a misdemeanor case, nigga. You done fucked around and caught a whole motherfucking felony. That's that square shit. And my son is handsome as hell, but yeah, I threw that nigga out because I'm not taking care of no grown-ass nigga. I pay $14.50 by myself, and all I get is my SSI check. And